Good afternoon, children. Welcome back. I am Divya, and we are going to continue with the second chapter of Social Studies, Movements of Earth. So, before continuing with the chapter, we will revise what we have learned in the previous class. So, movements of Earth. Right. So, what is movement? It is the change in place or change in position. Right. So our earth is continuously moving. Earth is continuously moving, and the movements of earth are of two types, the rotation and the revolution. The rotation and the revolution. Right. Even in the first chapter, you have learned that earth is having a bend. It is having a tilt, and this tilt is based on the axis of the earth. The tilt is based on the axis of the earth. So what is an axis? It is the imaginary line which connects the North Pole and the South Pole through the center of the earth. So the North Pole and the South Pole is connected through with the help of an imaginary line. These 2 points are connected. Okay? And the axis of the earth is tilted to about 23.5 degree, or otherwise known as 23.5 degree. Okay? So that is about the axis or the tilt of the earth. Now, what is rotation? The slow movement of earth on its imaginary axis is called rotation. So earth is continuously moving. We are all moving continuously. We cannot sit or stand quietly. We are all moving. The same way our earth is also continuously moving. And the slow movement of earth on its imaginary axis is called rotation. Now, the earth rotates on its axis from west to east. So as the earth is rotating on its axis, it is moving from west to east. And this is the reason why we consider that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Okay? So the rotation of the earth causes day and night. We have learned this. The rotation of the earth causes day and night. So as the earth is spherical in shape, or the earth is round in shape, only half of the earth is visible. Isn't it? Only half of the earth will be visited at a time. So the part which faces the sun will experience the daytime, and the part which is turned away from the sun will experience the night time. Okay? So what is rotation? The slow movement of earth on its imaginary axis is called rotation, and the earth rotates from west to east. That is the direction of the rotation of the earth. It moves from west to east. Okay? And the rotation of the earth causes day and night. The rotation of the earth causes day and night. So here in this video, see, this is the imaginary axis, or it is an imaginary line connecting the North Pole and the South Pole, and on this axis the earth is rotating from west to east. Okay? So the portion or part of the earth which is facing the sun will have daytime, and the part of the earth which is turned away from the sun will have darkened or will have night time. Okay? So this is what we have learned in the previous class. Today we will start with the revolution of earth. So we have already studied that the earth has two types of movement, the rotation and the revolution. So what is revolution of the earth? Let's see that. The movement of earth on its orbit around the sun is called revolution of the earth. The movement of earth on its orbit around the sun is called revolution of the earth. Isn't it? So what is orbit? It is the regular path. The regular path followed by a celestial object around the star or planet. So what is celestial object or celestial body? Any body which is moving in the space, we call it celestial object. That is natural, not man-made, the natural. So those bodies which are moving in the space is called the celestial object. The Earth, Mercury, all those are celestial objects. So the regular path being taken by a celestial object around a star or planet is called orbit. Okay? For example, when you were in the standard 3, during the dispersal time, you had a regular path for the dispersal, isn't it? Boys used to move along the left hand side of the main building. Girls used to take the right hand side, isn't it? So that was the regular path being taken by you to move out of the school. The regular path. So what is an orbit? It is the regular path which is being taken by a celestial body to move around a star or planet. And here you can see the regular path being taken by the earth, isn't it? Is it circular? No, isn't it? It is elliptical. The orbit of the earth is elliptical. Just like the shape of an egg. Okay? Or otherwise, for example, when you are trying to stretch a rubber band, it will be elongated. So it will be stretched. The same way, the orbit of the earth is also stretched. It is elliptical. We call it elliptical. It is not circular. It is elliptical. Just like the shape of an egg. Okay? So what is revolution of the earth? The movement of earth on its orbit around the sun is called revolution. And what is an orbit? An orbit is the regular path followed by a celestial body or object around a star or planet. Another example I can give you. Which is the natural satellite of earth? It is moon. Right? So our moon is also revolving round the earth. Earth is a planet. Sun is a star. So moon is a celestial object or celestial body which is moving round the earth, and together with the earth it is revolving round the sun also. Okay, so that is the regular path, the path being taken by a celestial body or object. Now, for the earth to revolve round the sun or to move round the sun, it takes 365 and 1/4 days. How many days is being taken? 365, 1/4 days is being taken to complete one revolution. Okay, or it is to complete one revolution, 1 year is being taken. So here, see, this 365, 1/4 days. So this 1/4 day means 6 hours. It means 6 hours. Extra 6 hours is being taken. So for a year, we consider 365 days. We consider 365 days. Okay? So this 6 hours will be kept aside because it is not convenient for us. We cannot add the 6 hours as it is. We cannot use the 6 hours. So we will keep it aside. Every 4th year, this 6 hours will be added together. So 4 years, 300, so 6 hours, 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. So every 4th year, this will be included. See, 6 plus 6, 12 hours. 12 hours plus 6 hours will give us 18 hours. Then 18 plus 6 will give us 24 hours. It will give us 24 hours. That means 1 day. Okay. So this 1 day will be included in the month of February as 29th day. Usually we have only 28 days in the month of February, isn't it? So this 24 hours will be considered in the month of February. So those years where this 1 day is being added in the month of February is known as the leap year. It is known as the leap year. So leap year has 366 days. That means 365 plus 1 day. 24 hours means 1 day. That will give us 366. Now, you don't have to study the leap year as it is. It is not given in your textbook, but for clearance, because here it is written 365 1 by 4 days. If I am telling you that 1 year consists of 365 days, you will have a doubt of what this 1 by 4 means. Right. So that is the reason why I have told you about the leap year. So every 4th year we have 366 days. So this year 2020 is a leap year. The month of February we had 29 days. Okay. So how many days are being taken when we are talking about the revolution of the earth? We just consider the 365. We are not counting the 1 by 4 or the 6 hours. That will be included in the 4th year. That is leap year. Okay. So you don't have to study what is leap year. Just know what is the definition of revolution and how many days are being taken for the completion of a revolution of the earth. Okay. So I will repeat it again. The movement of earth on its orbit around the sun is called revolution. And so what is orbit? An orbit is the regular path followed by a celestial object or body around a star or planet. Okay? So this is the definition for orbit. And it takes 365 1 by 4 days or 1 year to complete one revolution. So here we can see the video. See? The earth is revolving round the sun in its elliptical path or in its elliptical orbit. It takes 1 year to complete the one revolution or to move around, to come around. Now, here you can see the seasons. Isn't it? So next topic is about the seasons. We have 4 seasons. Which are they? Summer season, autumn season, winter season and the spring season. Okay? So next topic is about the seasons. So the seasons is caused mainly due to the revolution of the earth and the tilt of the earth. So 2 reasons are there why we have seasons. Which are they? 1, the revolution of the earth, and second is the tilt of the earth. Okay? So here you can see that earth is revolving or moving around the sun. So how many seasons do we have? Here we have summer, then we have fall or otherwise known as the autumn. Okay? Then we have winter here and spring. So 4 seasons are there, and these seasons are caused due to 2 reasons. One is the revolution of the earth round the sun and the tilt of the axis of the earth. Let's move there. See, seasons are caused by the revolution of the earth around the sun. So in its elliptical path, in the elliptical path of the earth is slowly moving. So in each position in this elliptical path, we will experience certain seasons. That is the first reason. The second reason, while the earth travels on its orbit, it is constantly tilted on its axis. Look, the earth is revolving around the sun. Together with that, it is constantly tilted. That tilt is not changing. In the previous class we have studied, the earth is tilted to about 23.5 degree or 23.5 degree. So it is tilted on its axis and it is not changing the angle but only the direction. So as it moves in its elliptical path. So two reasons are there. One, the revolution of the earth around the sun, and the second is while the earth travels on its orbit, it is constantly tilted on its axis. So when you have studied about the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So you are familiar with that. The earth is divided. This is the latitude called equator. So this is equator. So equator divides the earth into the northern hemisphere and here it is southern hemisphere. And I have told you the earth is tilted to about 23.5 degree or 23.5 degree. So as the earth revolves around the sun and together with the tilt of the axis, see, only a part of the earth will be faced by the sun. That is, only a part of the earth will be facing the sun. So the part which faces the sun, during the rotation we have studied that the part which faces the sun will have daytime. That is, the part of the earth which faces the sun will have daytime, and the part of the earth which is turned away from the sun will experience the night time. But in seasons or in revolution in a year, there is a time when the northern part of the earth will face the sun. Okay? So the part which faces the sun will experience summer, and the part which is turned away from the sun. And here it is the sun. It is the northern hemisphere which is facing the sun. So it will experience summer, and the other half, that is the southern hemisphere, which is turned away from the sun, will have winter. Will have winter. You see, when the northern hemisphere experiences summer in June, India is located in the northern hemisphere. So June is the time when it is very hot for us. Why? Because the northern hemisphere is facing the sun. So we have summer during June. Okay? So northern hemisphere experiences summer in June. So when northern hemisphere is facing the sun, as it experiences the summer, the southern hemisphere will have winter. The opposite happens. Okay? So the part which is facing the sun will have summer season, and the part of the earth or the southern hemisphere which is turned away from the sun will experience winter. Similarly, when the southern hemisphere experiences summer in December, so southern hemisphere also is turned towards the sun. But when? During December. During the month of December, the southern hemisphere is facing the sun. So there they will experience the summer, whereas for us, that is in the northern hemisphere, it will be winter. See, here you can see, right, the revolution of the earth. So this is the position when the tilt is towards, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. So we have summer. Then after 6 months, here at the 6th month, this is the position of the earth in the elliptical path. Here the southern hemisphere is facing the sun. The southern hemisphere will have summer season, whereas the northern hemisphere, which is turned away from the sun, will have winter. Okay? So this is the reason why in the northern hemisphere, for example, India, celebrates Christmas during winter season, whereas Australia, which is located in the southern hemisphere, celebrates Christmas during their summer season. Alternate happens. Here, this is the video I will show you. You see, the northern hemisphere is facing the sun, isn't it? So here it will be summer season. Why? Northern hemisphere is facing the sun. The other half is turned away. Here it is the southern half of the earth which is facing the sun. The northern hemisphere is turned away. See, the same is being shown. Here vertical rays falls where the northern hemisphere. So there is summer. Okay. In the southern hemisphere, it is turned away from the sun. It is turned away. So here it is winter. So northern hemisphere has summer and winter and it happens in June. Now this position, you can see southern hemisphere is facing the sun. Northern hemisphere is turned away. So northern hemisphere have winter, whereas southern hemisphere gets the vertical rays of the sun. So there it is summer season. Okay, and it happens during the month of December. Okay, so it happens every 6 months. So it is due to the elliptical shape of the orbit. The earth moves in a regular path and it is elliptical. Elliptical means elongated, or it is being stretched. It is not circular. Alright. So a part of the earth during the revolution, a part of the earth is facing the sun. When it faces the sun, it will be summer there, and the part which is turned away from the sun will experience winter. Clear? So we will continue. I will just go through it again. So today we have started with the revolution of the earth. What is revolution? The movement of earth on its orbit around the sun is called revolution. So what is orbit? The regular path followed by a celestial object around the star or planet is called orbit, and it is elliptical in shape. The orbit is elliptical in shape. And how many days are being taken? It takes 365 and 1/4 days. So 1/4 will be kept aside. Every 4th year, the 6 hours will be added together. So usually we say that 1 year is equal to 365 days. Okay, so that is about the revolution of the earth. Here we have the seasons. We have 4 seasons. Which are they? Summer season, autumn season, then winter season and spring season. So you might have studied about this in the lower classes. So we have 4 seasons. Why we have 4 seasons? This is because the revolution of the earth around its elliptical path, that is around the sun, and the tilt of the axis. So 2 reasons are there. Revolution of the earth around the sun and the tilt of the axis of the earth. Okay. So seasons, 2 reasons are there because of the revolution of the earth around the sun, and while the earth travels on its orbit, it is constantly tilted on its axis. It doesn't become straight. The earth is tilted. Okay. Throughout the year, as it is moving continuously, the earth is tilted, rotating on its axis as well as revolving around the sun. Then, when the northern hemisphere experiences summer in June, the southern hemisphere has winter. Okay? So we are having summer season. That is why the temperature is more. The heat, we are feeling very hot. So when the northern hemisphere experiences summer in June, the southern hemisphere has winter. What is the reason? Because of the tilt of the earth. During June, it is the northern hemisphere which is facing the sun. The southern hemisphere is turned away from the sun. Okay. Similarly, when the southern hemisphere experiences summer in December. So during the month of December, the southern hemisphere is facing the sun. Okay? So as the southern hemisphere faces the sun, they will experience, or the southern hemisphere will experience summer season, while the northern hemisphere, which is turned away from the sun, will experience the winter season. See, the same thing. The northern hemisphere is facing the sun, so it is summer season for us. Southern hemisphere is turned away from the sun. In this position, it is the southern hemisphere which is facing the sun. So southern hemisphere will have summer, while the northern hemisphere will have winter season. Okay. So this is the time, that is during June, in the month of June. The vertical rays falls over the northern hemisphere. I am not going into the details. You will be learning this in the higher classes. Okay. So summer in the northern hemisphere, winter in the southern hemisphere. And this is during the December, the month of December. The southern hemisphere faces the sun, so they will have summer, whereas northern hemisphere, which is turned away from the sun, will have winter season. When? During December. Okay? So there is a small activity in the following diagram. It is a diagram which is given in your textbook. So either you can draw it in your notebook or paste the picture. Okay? So paste the picture or draw it in your notebook and mark the different seasons of the earth. Which are the seasons? The summer season, the autumn, then comes the winter and the spring. Okay? So 4 seasons are there. You have to mark this. How will you mark it? See, here it is the northern hemisphere which is facing the sun. Okay, so what will you write here? It is summer. The northern hemisphere is facing the sun, so it will be summer here. Then here it is autumn. Okay, then at this position, see, it is the southern hemisphere which is facing the sun, so you can write here winter. So southern hemisphere faces the sun, the northern hemisphere is turned away from the sun. So why we are giving importance as we say that this is winter season? Because when this, just for your information, that most of the land masses on the earth is concentrated in the northern hemisphere. Okay, so we are giving importance to the northern hemisphere. Why? Because most of the land mass is located in the northern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere, it is mainly the water body, mainly the oceans. Okay, so what will you write here? Here you have to write summer season, then autumn, here it is winter, and this will be the spring. Either draw the picture in your notebook or paste the picture. So this is the activity for you. This is for today. In next class, we will be studying in detail about the seasons. Thank you.